Fair is Fair by Jennifer Dussling. Illustrated by Diane, Palmisciano. But Dad, Marco whined. No, Marco, Mr. Solano said firmly. Your allowance is fair. Marco sighed. The other kids in his class had bigger allowances. Marco got $3 a week. Everyone else got at least $5. It wasn't fair, no matter what his dad said. Mr. Solano was off to his job at the Pet Party Pet Food Company. I'll be back at 7, he said. He rumpled Marco's hair on his way out. I'm sorry, hon, Marco's mom said. Your dad is just busy at work. He's trying to get a big account. She grabbed her keys. Business is the only thing that gets his attention right now. Marco's mom was joking, but her joke gave Marco an idea. When Mr. Solano came home, Marco was walking back and forth in front of the TV. He was carrying a sign that said, "Keep your kid happy. Raise his allowance." The only thing Mr. Solano raised was his eyebrows. The next day, Marco left little sticky notes all over the house. They said, "Don't forget, raise Marco's allowance." His dad didn't take the hints. Early Saturday morning, Marco wrote a note on his dad's calendar. 10 a.m. Meet with Marco about money. Mr. Solano laughed and took Marco to the zoo instead. The zoo was fun, but it wasn't what Marco really wanted. He kept thinking about his allowance. How could he get his dad to take him seriously? In school on Monday, Marco learned about bar graphs. Graphs are a great way to make a point, his teacher said. That's it, Marco said to himself. At lunch, Marco asked some kids in his class about their allowances. He took notes. When he got home, he spread out a big piece of grid paper on his bedroom floor. First, Marco wrote the numbers 0 to 10 on the left side of the grid. 1 square stood for each dollar a kid got. Next, he wrote a kid's name at the bottom of each column. Then, he started coloring. When Marco was finished, Sam, Maria, and Nathan had tall towers of squares above their names. Anne had a skyscraper. Marco's column was barely a house. Marco's bar graph got Mr. Solano's attention. He looked at it carefully. This is interesting, he said. But I still think $3 is fair. Mr. Solano didn't sound quite as sure as he had before. Marco knew he was onto something with the bar graphs. The next day, Marco did another survey of his classmates. He asked them how many chores they had. Sam and Nathan had 2 chores to do. Anne had 3. Maria didn't have any chores at all. And Marco? Marco had 5 chores. He had to sweep the floor, feed the dog, set the table, take out the trash, and make his bed. This time, Marco had the tower. Everyone else had houses. Mr. Solano spent a whole 10 minutes looking at Marco's new bar graph. He scratched his chin. He mumbled to himself, yes, no. He walked away without saying anything. Mr. Solano went into his office. He didn't come out again all night. Marco couldn't tell if that was good or bad. He decided to act like it was good. But it wasn't good. It was great. The next day, Marco's dad came home early. He swept Marco right off the floor, gave him a big bear hug, and said, "Thank you, Marco." "I had a big meeting today," Marco's dad explained. "I wanted to win this new account, and your bar graphs gave me an idea. Last night, I made my own bar graphs, and Garden Grocery picked Pet Party pet food over 4 other companies." Marco's dad took out the bar graphs he had made. One showed a pet food taste test between Pet Party and 4 other brands. The dogs liked Mr. Solano's pet food best. Another showed which pet food veterinarians preferred. Pet Party was their favorite too. Marco gave his dad a big hug. He was glad his dad was happy. "Get your mom," Marco's dad said. "We're going out to dinner to celebrate." Marco, his dad, and his mom all piled into the family car. They went to Marco's favorite restaurant, China Garden. Mr. Solano called for a toast. "Here's to Marco." His bar graphs were clear and powerful. They convinced me. I thought $3 was fair, but I was wrong. So Marco, I am raising your allowance. Marco was surprised, but only for a second. His bar graphs had proved his point. He was finally getting a bigger allowance. They all raised their teacups. "Cheers to Marco," his mom and dad said. "Cheers to me," Marco said. That night, Marco taped up his 2 bar graphs. He lay back in bed and looked at them. He smiled. Just a week ago, it seemed as if his dad would never change his mind. Now, he understood what Marco had been trying to show him all along. Fair is fair. In this story, Marco knew what was fair. He knew his worth, and he knew that his dad could afford to pay more. But sometimes in our world, people aren't paid what they're worth. Sometimes people aren't treated fairly. I wonder, what should people do when they're not treated fairly? Today we're going to hear from someone who has not been treated fairly. After we hear from them, I encourage you to share your thoughts with a family member or friend this week or at coffee hour after the service.